and welcome to my channel. My name is Nikita Antoine, and today we'll be doing a message for the sign of Aquarius. As always, Aquarius, all of the readings are timeless, so when the message finds you and resonates, then it is yours the time in which you find it. Aquarius, I have done your spread today with my triple stack deck. It's the Ethereal Visions Tarot, the Dreamscape Oracle, as well as the Luna Tarot, all by Hughes, blended into one. So you'll be seeing that in your spread. Aquarius, it kind of looks like you have made a decision, made some type of choice that perhaps you are looking back at. There's a reflection that's happening here in your energy. Maybe even questioning whether or not you made the right choice. So, at the bottom of the deck, we have Justice. This is a very interesting card. Oh, this is beautiful. Underneath that, the Selkie energy is presenting itself, and it made a very important appearance in the Pisces reading. So if you're dealing with a Pisces, or if you have Pisces in your chart, then I would highly recommend to go watch that reading, as it might help you understand your situation a little bit more, have a little bit more insight into what's happening for you. So, the underlying energy for you here today is Justice. There's a supportive element to your reading today that's being presented as the universe supporting and guiding your decision making in a very absolute type of way. This Justice card speaks of very final decision making. It can come through as a little bit cutthroat in that there's no room here for gray. It's only black and white. So for you, it might have looked like that a decision needed to be made that was either a yes or a no. And not a lot of understanding was put into whatever that decision that you decided, whatever choice you decided to make. So, with Justice coming at the bottom of the deck, you're being presented with coming into a new perspective, because the decision that you made, with it being such a finality, it's caused you to look back. There's a sense of like hindsight being 2020, that perhaps whenever you made this decision, you were so concerned about what it either was or it wasn't, and there wasn't a lot of understanding on your part with whatever party you were dealing with. Perhaps maybe a Pisces that you were dealing with, since that Selkie energy came up. All right, so on the bridge, we have the path presenting itself. And this is looking like you. This is very interesting. The path is being opened up. This is interesting because, you know, even though you might be experiencing, looking back at this at this choice that you made, and it's like you are questioning your decision making. But what's being reinforced here by the justice energy, by universal truth, universal law, and universal order, is that this point on your timeline was a very pivotal turning point for you. It was a part of your path. And there's something in it that was acting as a rebalancing of the forces between you and this situation. So if you feel as though the decision that you made was perhaps the wrong decision, there's a little bit of reassurance here in that the decision that you had made was purposeful, and the purpose was to reacquaint you with your path and actually bring you into balance with the other party in the situation. Because I'm seeing these two scales in justice, and it's referring to that both individuals are now coming into, well, they're starting to come into resonance with each other because they're being viewed in an equal plane. So, with that being said, let's see what the overall energy is for you. The overall energy is presenting as the architect. And this architect is coming through as you actually not understanding the way in which your decision has contributed to your reality's manifestation. For instance, you might be actually like punishing yourself or something along those lines, like punishing yourself for the decision that you had made, because there's a little bit of not understanding how that decision you made is actually, or at least was, beneficial for the reestablishment of balance. So a little bit of insight is coming in for you, Aquarius, as to how all of the pieces fit together. How your part, the part that you had played, is making itself known, and also the parts that others have played it's like they are fitting together, and you're being able to see the entire scope, the entire perspective of the situation, and how you had actually designed this manifestation to come into being. So at the root of it, the situation that you were dealing with was to bring about some type of balance. So, we're beginning your reading with the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man presented itself in the Pisces reading, formally, as someone who was dropping in to to check on someone. That's what it was referring to. So in the Pisces reading, we actually had, there was the Selkie who was presenting as the Pisces, and there was also this card here, the Star. And it was referring to two people who had experienced something very similar, and there were energies that were outside of them that were asking, almost trying to pull them back into the situation. So, Aquarius, it seems like you are actually one of those individuals that is dropping in and wanting to pull, perhaps with the Lover's card that's presented here, wanting to pull your lover back to you. So, forever, whatever situation is happening for you, it seems to me like you and this star energy, whoever's presenting as a star, 1111, it's on the clock. It's very interesting because the star talks about wishes. So whatever is presenting as the star, perhaps maybe even one of your own personal wishes, it's like you're being separated. Or at least you have separated yourself from one of your wishes. And this wish could be presented to you as perhaps maybe a person or an experience that you want to have, or even like a tangible, like an object that you desire to have in your possession, or even perhaps, especially with the Hangman, a new type of awareness. And when these cards initially came out, so the Hangman, of course, came out first. And while I was shuffling, the Star came out second. But when they laid themselves on the table, there was a gap that was presented between them. And as I kept shuffling, the Lovers card settled itself between both of these two energies. So that's what's really bringing me the idea that there's a separation between these two. So what's very interesting here is, as I'm noticing, this Hangman typically in the traditional tarot represents Pisces, and the Star usually represents Aquarius. And then, of course, we have the Lovers in between you two. I'm actually seeing you as the Hangman and your person, situation, or your wish as the Star. So what I'm noticing here is that it's like you are starting to experience the other side of the coin. So it might be that you're actually starting to experience what the other in this situation, the other side of the scale, what they were experiencing when you made this final choice. It's coming through as a decision that when it was spoken aloud or when it was presented to the other, it came through as there was a finality to it. That however the situation moved forward after that moment in time, it was never the same. There's a finality to it. So it seems as though you're coming into a space where you are experiencing kind of like the other side of the coin. And that has to do with because once that decision was made, both of you were brought into balance. And because you were brought back into this core resonance with each other, you're able to experience the thought process and perhaps even the emotions, especially with this Eight of Cups that's presenting as the final card in your reading. You're able to experience what the other is experiencing. There's an exchange of energies that's happening here. And that actually might be what is bringing you a sense of understanding. Because whenever you made this decision, there wasn't a lot of understanding. It was a decision that was made. Well, it was a decision that was made in self-preservation is how it's coming through. Because I'm noticing here that you're looking back at this situation, and you're being presented with 8 of these cups. And in the star here, there are 7 stars up here, but then there's also one more in the background. So it's like there's one being there, the one is being removed from the situation. And because there are 7 stars left in the sky, it's as if you were trying to protect yourself. There's something about it, how you were trying to protect yourself and your emotions and your protecting. Okay. So it's like you were trying to protect yourself from vulnerability. And the way that you did that was to leave the situation. And by leaving the situation, you're also leaving behind all of the emotions that were brought up to the surface. So in a sense, you might be starting to understand that by running away from the lover's energy, from perhaps maybe even your wish, you're realizing in hindsight that that decision wasn't necessarily one that is leaving you in this justice energy. It's as though you feel that, at least in this present moment in time, after you have made that decision, you're suddenly feeling like the decision that you had made, the choice, was actually not a justified one, because you're coming into an understanding of what the other is experiencing. And with you initially showing up here as the hangman, it's causing you to take a pause. It's causing you to reflect on your internal landscape, on all of perhaps the emotions that you didn't give yourself a chance to experience. And so what I'm seeing here with the Hangman is that as you continue down this path, of understanding that the choice that you had made is actually giving you an opportunity to understand how you contributed to the manifestation of your current circumstances, there's a weight that is being added to you. It feels very heavy. It feels really emotionally heavy. And it seems like the longer that you sit back and you observe those emotions from almost like you're observing it from a third party viewpoint. You're looking at this situation as how someone might see it on the outside. So you're stepping outside of the situation, and that's where this separation is coming in. It's like you had to be separated from the lovers so that you could actually step outside of it and gain a new perspective on its entirety. And the weight of that is really being presented here in the Hangman, because what I'm seeing is this tree limb that you're hanging yourself off, the support beam, if you will, which of course is that underlining energy again, the underlining energy being the supportive element. So you're hanging yourself off of this yes or no final decision. And suddenly there's going to be a point in time where this support breaks down. There's an energy that this justice, that what you perceived as justice, is going to start to break down. And then it's like you're falling down out of this Hangman space, out of the place where you feel as though you're stuck, or even as it was showing up in the Pisces reading, as if you can't live without this one. So Aquarius, there's almost like a reassurance that is coming in here, that once you fall out of this Hangman position and step fully into the Eight of Cups, there's a realization that you can actually go on this path alone. However, it doesn't have to be an absolute. It can have a sense of gray in there. It doesn't mean that you have to go the path alone, and it also doesn't mean that you have to go the path with someone else. So the turning point here for you on your path that's being presented is that you can actually decide whether or not you want, who you want to bring with you. You can decide who you want to bring with you. And it does seem like you're coming to a space where you're only wanting to bring the ones that encompass this lover's energy for you. So they encompass for you compassion, unconditional love, beauty, rejuvenation, peace, harmony, all of those beautiful aspects that we see in the lover's energy. And it's like you are deciding to now build a new space for yourself that includes the entire range of what the lover's energy means to you. It's not an all or nothing anymore for you. Okay, Aquarius, I think I'm going to leave it there. And if you find that this reading resonated for you, I will be pulling some more cards, and you can find the link to the extended in the description box below, and I hope to see you there.